it's, you know, some other organisations are doing it. What are the business benefits for our business that we're trying to achieve? And if we understand what our problems are, before we talked about the different types of wastes and why categorise wastes, so we can then tackle them. 5S is a good solution for some types of waste, but if we really want to know what, or improve our businesses, understand what our problems are, categorise waste, and then determine what we should be focusing on initially. It may be 5S, it may not. Okay, let's not just fall into the assumption that 5S is where we've got to start. I like the feedback too in terms of what are the expected outcomes. The only other bit of feedback I'd have too is if people are selecting their own projects, which is great from an engagement point of view, but again, why are they selecting those projects, and what sort of guidance might we give them in terms of where we're going to get the benefits as if we focus on our bottlenecks. So if they're doing some 5S to learn about it, let's get them focused where it's going to give us actual tangible business outcomes, not just an outcome for them, but fundamentally a dollar outcome for us as businesses. The other thing, again, it's being led from the top, the Lean initiative here, and engagement of people at all levels, which I think is critical, particularly in a small organisation. Cross-skilling is fundamentally important. You know, otherwise one person's away for a couple of days and it has significant impacts on your business. So yeah, so thanks very much for the preso today and the engagement of your people and being part of the consortium. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. What do you just off that for a second? What I'd like to do is introduce Anthony Gardner, Tag Cranes and Lifts. Anthony's been on the journey for a while. Came to around about 3 years ago now, I think, came to an information session that I had, and then came to one of our workshops, a 3-day workshop at that stage. But he's a man that very much lives and breathes the lean philosophy, and not just in the manufacturing area, in all different areas. And best if let's just let Anthony introduce himself and tell us what he's been up to.
Thanks, Dennis. I find it quite difficult to stand up in front of everyone. Each and every time I've tried to present a new presentation, because I have been through this so many times, and while you all sat down last time with me, and many of you, not necessarily all of you, my journey hasn't just been from the manufacturing concept. It's sort of been, as an individual, you know, I'm a boilermaker welder. I've sort of been involved in field services and what have you as well. I've got about 31 years of cumulative knowledge or experience in those different areas. I've been self-employed for pretty much 25 years. If I wasn't self-employed as a subcontractor or something to the effect, I've basically been working within my own company, or I was a shareholder in that company, so I've never really been employed, unemployable to that. Some of the positions that I've sort of worked through and to is production and maintenance manager, and we listen to operations management and all these different, there's health and safety environments, there's so many different roles that fundamentally I see as being all involved around this sort of middle management seat. And I've had a go at a lot of things. I've been involved in implementing SysPro. I've been involved in sort of creating reports and what have you over and above the likes of M1 or our ERP, MRP system at that point in time. And I was involved as an equal director and shareholder then of a $35 million company which was national based. So as that crossover between the two and everything that we were doing in those two environments, there's also battling with time zones, changes in time. We sort of deal with then New Zealand across to Perth. There's a 4-hour difference there, 6-hour difference there. Then daylight savings, and then Queensland and South Australia. So you're sort of juggling a lot of things to a lot of places. But I as an individual was starting to put a lot of systems together at that point in time, and really the closer I got to where I wanted to get, and does anybody here know what a balanced scorecard is? Many of us heard of a balanced scorecard? Yeah, so what I got to achieving at that point in time was a balanced scorecard for the non-hand raisers. It was sort of a general master overview of the company's performance in many different areas of the business. What we started measuring there, and it was with the involvement of Dennis at that time as well, we started to have a look at our missed opportunities and how much time we were losing and what we could have been doing with that opportunity. It was around that time that I really sort of started to get misaligned with the other directors, if I can call it that. And I felt that I was going to either live in the way that I was, or I could make a conscious decision and move on and go again. So here I am, and I started again. I asked myself whether I should have done that, but so my lean journey has been, to date, for approximately 2 years now, been investment back into making some time for me. And when I say time for me, it's about putting some systems and structure together and building the baseline so that we could grow our business. Traditionally speaking, the businesses I've been involved in have become rapid growth, and it's become very hard to manage, very hard to build these systems and put these systems in place and have that sustainability at the same time. So it was, for me, I wanted to actually come back, have a look, and start building from the ground up. So really, visual aids, as we've seen a lot of 5S on the factory floor and in different environments, and the way that computers and technology can bring all of this information to us now, I've been trying to tap into the technology that's available as well, and there's a heck of a lot out of there. So root cause analysis, I really think it has changed my whole life these days, and that's a pretty big statement, because the more I've looked into where the problems are coming from, the deeper I've tried to work out how do I prevent those mistakes from happening again, and the deeper I've gone again. So it's really has helped me as a person, as an individual, to be able to even stand here and talk in front of 50 people, let me say. It's helped me understand myself better as well. So, and then with that constant improvement again, it's just getting so close down and then coming back so far. I was at the last consortium that Dennis Lean Logic held. I was asked one of the questions after my presentation, and how does one person do all of that? And really it's been about accumulating my 31 years, systemising it, putting some structures together so that I can in effect error-proof myself and sort of prevent myself having to trip and stumble over the same things again and again. And I always had quite a big business financial goal, revenue, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of things needed, and I, again, just didn't want to be tripping and stumbling through that journey as much as I had experienced to date. Now, whilst Dennis has just got up and spoken about the 5S, and we've looked a lot at 5S, 5S to me is, I've applied it across many different spectrums of the business and our business model, which I'll come into. Just sort of remembering the 5S, and again, I've sorted out my time utilisation. I've tried to maximise my value in what it's returning to me as an individual as I build this company. But then I've also trying to, and again, going into setting in order by building sustainable solutions. Our main and man operating system is fundamentally a web-based system that we've been putting together now for these 2 years. And the reason that I wanted to do that was that again, I've been through the accounting software, the ERP, MRP software, the specific report writing software, and it was all these pieces were disjointed, and it was hard to, I needed to, for myself in a busy position, I wanted a dashboard that was going to be teaching me or showing me what I needed to do when that phone rang, so I could give the honest answers and the transparent answers at basically point a phone call. Now, over the last 2 years, again, we've been sort of trying to refine this system and improve it, and I sort of work with some developers and on a daily basis. I probably work on my business for 50% of the time and in my business for the other 50%, and it's probably pretty hard. It's probably reasonable to say. But I knew that to get to the sustainability position, again, I needed some strong system, structure, foundation, and we needed to top that up with a bit of can-do attitude, positive people, and creating a culture of continuous improvement, customer service, and that was all going to take a lot of training to hand over my knowledge and into the people. So along comes a couple of our people and sort of listen to my concept of thinking now and try and introduce what we're doing and trying to build that culture, just so that we can actually all be focused on what we need to focus on. And in this day and age, it's not so much, there's a lot of error proof in a lot of these bits and pieces and customer relations management. With the slides and the journey that you've been on already, there's a high probability that you may recall this slide along the way. In the typical manufacturing, 95% of non-value added time, receiving, storing, moving, waiting and packing, all the non-value added activity. I've been very heavily focused on that, and it's really about information transfer just as much. When we talk about the movement, it's about the communication, it's about the transparency of the data, and so it can talk to you as well. It's about the 5S on the floor and all those sort of things that are helping to convey a message. And again, I've just added it to so many different segments of the business now. So again, I sort of say, if I look at what you've seen before in different presentations over your journey for the last 3 months, and possibly more, I see this as an area of the foundations and what I was trying to create. I see that these are going to be key components of what we need to continue to do. We now sort of continue to go through our daily operations, but again, I've been building the foundations and working through to create a system which is very heavily, whether I'm right to say this or not, we've really got to, in my opinion, close to the finish line. We've achieved what I quote here, we've genuinely achieved, but then it comes back again and it has to be refined so that it becomes more sustainable when handed over to the other team players. So it's a fair journey. Now, I've got to stand back, that's so loud and big. As a company being TAG and our operating system, our model of business is all right. We've obviously all got our point of sale. We're a manufacturing based company. We're in a